A lot of people walking around just asleep. So I'm going to share my testimony. And I actually haven't shared this in a long time as far as my past and what I've been through that's led me up to this moment. I'm Freddie, but I'm also known as Luis Fernando Del Rio Jr., which is my real name. And yeah, apparently I can flow, I can rap, I can manipulate words and just, I don't know, God just kind of uses me and I just let it flow, you know, just let it go. God's been doing some really amazing things with me lately. Yeah, let's sit down, I got a lot of names. Freddie Four Fingers is one of them, hence the lack thereof index. I lost this when I was 9, so I'll tell the kids I was this many. And they're like, 10? I'm like, gotcha. And I'll show them a cool magic trick, you know, and trying to make my finger disappear, and then, you know, yeah, give me 4, you know, and kind of have this way with kids. They seem to flock to me. I'm starting to lose that. I mean, I have kids at home. I have a 8-year-old daughter, Alexis. Our son was born on Father's Day. He's a ham. His name's Cameron. Handsome Cam. Killer Cam. And then we got Camille Rose, little busybody. I can hear her cry right now, just like all day today, just cries about the smallest things too, you know. Really tests your patience. My wife got to get out of the house. It was nice. Got to have some adult conversations. But there's a moment where God spoke to me through my 8-year-old daughter before I came here. I shared with her that she had a grandma. And she's like, I know. And I was like, no, you don't. You actually don't. This is my first time sharing with her that my real mom, her grandma, I had to break it down to her, that she passed away. And the look on her face was just, really? And I guess it was my way of kind of warming up, you know, I guess to share with you guys. And as we were talking, and it's the emotions kind of just rushing through me, out of me. And she came and just gave me the biggest hug, and she's like, it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be okay. Do you want to pray? We should pray right now. Yeah, let's pray, you know. I've been so addicted to this world. You know, I mean, Cameron invited me to the service last week, and when I came, it was so surreal. Just coming up here and just letting God just flow through me, and I was expecting a church service. I was expecting something more like this, you know, and it was more, a lot of you guys would play a winter jam, right? And it's kind of more like a jam session. It was nice. And not only felt amazing, but it was, I'm really all over the place, ain't I?
Not really.
I know, it's just, and that's one thing that I struggle with is everything has to be perfect. You know, just the spontaneity of like, why not just let it flow? You know, like with this, I mean, there's so much randomness and I love it. You know, this is great. I had a few ideas how this was going to go. It hasn't went at all how I expected it to, and I'm okay with that. I'm learning how to be okay with these things. I have a a problem in it. And my problem is sin. Sin brings death. Give God his breath back. You owe him. See, I'm originally from Bolivia, and I actually lived in Bolivia for 4 years. And I didn't know my name until I was 14 years old, my real name. I went by Fred Brenner, so they could hide me from my father. So my father, he would use my name to smuggle drugs into the U.S. He's a part of the Bolivian cartel. He's a drug lord. And the things that I witnessed at that age, I mean, granted, I was only 4 years old, but I could speak Spanish fluently. I was really, I just watched videos as a kid. I was a little pyro, and trying to learn English and being adopted and living in Dallas, a small little town, Dallas. Growing up in a different culture. See, there, mom isn't mom. Mom is a slave. Grandmother is mom. My grandmother was my mother. She's who took care of me. But my father, see, I learned I had a brother. I had a little brother. Joshua was his name. And he was coming down from being high, and he couldn't take it anymore. My brother was mentally disabled because of all the drugs that my mother was forced to do, because in that culture they just drug them, and they're basically sex slaves. They're basically just slaves. My father manipulated her into bringing me back, hence me being born in the United States, to go back into that world. Growing up until that moment, and there were still nightmares, but I had these nightmares of a little boy being drowned in a bathtub in front of me, like just vicious. And I thought I was possessed, having these visions of a woman just being beaten and just burned, chunks bitten, just horrible, just demonic things. I was going to Awanas, and I was like one of those unique kids who was friends with everybody, and can adapt to just be a chameleon and absorb all the different vibes and personalities. And so I thought I was possessed by demons, having dreams of all these things and visions of all these things. And come to find out that these visions were real, and that my father is actually the one that drowned this little boy, my brother, in a bathtub in front of me. And he did these awful things to my mother in front of me. And my aunt, which is my mom now, Karen, told me the truth. She finally took me upstairs and took me to this black chest, and we opened it, and it had newspaper articles, and it had my real name, and it had just all this stuff, and it took me a couple weeks to pronounce my name, finally. And I ended up just creating a name for myself, Four-Fingered Freddy, or Freddy Four Fingers, or, And now knowing that my father was a psychopath, I wanted to hunt him down. I wanted to kill him. I wanted him to pay. So I was training to be a ninja. I'm gonna be a spy, and I'm gonna find him. I'm gonna snipe him out. But I kept going to Awanas. I kept going to church, I'm smoking cigarettes. I'm eating, just cigarette butts and just doing all kinds of crazy stuff. But, I started smoking marijuana, and I realized it kind of numbed that pain. It numbed kind of took me to a different, I guess it gave me a superficial God, if that makes sense. Just that high. But then there was all these, I took caffeine. If I were to take caffeine, I started getting on this level where I just felt like I could do almost anything. And then I realized just recently that I have a lot of these triggers. If I drink caffeine, all of a sudden I feel like I'm gacked out. People are always like, are you on crack? Are you on one? Are you on something? Like, what do you want? I'm like, no, I just drink coffee. But turns out it's a trigger. And I was a crack baby. And then my mother did more drugs in the womb when, my brother actually, she only had a couple moments of, I guess, exposure of being high. But with me, it was like an everyday thing. She was always high, and I came out okay, I guess. But I have these gifts, I have these talents, and I've been using them for my own selfish, to feed the ego and to feed the pride, and now God's using me, and it's frightening. I have a family. I'm afraid that, am I going to become like my father? Am I going to become this psychopath, this impatient? I just don't know. But what I do know is that the more I draw near and be around people like Pedro and Stephen and Sean and Esperance and Airmen and like-minded people of faith, it's just, not only is there attacks, like since this whole week, I've had more attacks happen than ever before. So many attacks. I just want to veg out on the tube and just escape. And watch these sitcoms and just feel that pleasure of just being entertained, take a bong hit and then just practice on the microphone this rap talent that I have. But in the end, I just feel empty, I just feel selfish. Things are getting pretty crazy in the world right now. They always have been. I've been focusing on so many things that I can't really change, Like, a lot of this conspiracy stuff, we worry about it. Been worrying a lot. I don't know how much time I have, Pedro, but I wanted to tell you guys this quick story. So when I was adopted, I gained another brother, my younger brother, my big little brother, or little big brother, rather. Boo, Bradley. We were bros, opposites, but we were brothers. And we had an older brother, Travis, and he was one of the popular guys. Everybody wanted to be like Travis. He was invincible. He was what all the boys wanted to be like, and he was who all the girls wanted. It took 8 guys just to tackle him down. His head was this big. But him and his friend Steve would play these games with my brother and I. And they would take us to a field and beat the living crud out of us to the point of just we would just be rabid dogs, and they would sick us on each other, right? So this is me and my brother that I love so much, and in this moment, we have to fight. We have to do this, and we would fight, and we'd scratch, and we'd bite, and we'd rip, and we'd just go until we couldn't go anymore. And to get us to that point, they would get on top of us and slap us in the face, and tap on our chest, and suffocate us, and just get us so that rage. And then I became addicted. We became addicted to fighting, so we'd go and just try to find people to fight. Go to Dow City Park and just fight people, and just get all that anger and aggression out and just fight. And he had this box of weed, and I'd sneak up there and I'd take it and I'd smoke, and it just took me to this place, and with drinks I'd go up there and I'd sneak alcohol. And then they found out, and then I remember he gave me my first bong hit. It was laced with shrooms. I thought I was gonna die. I was outside of my body and I was back into my body, and the stuff that I was seeing was very euphoric, and it was I realized we all have addictive personalities, but my addiction was just towards if it wasn't for fighting, then it was marijuana, and if it wasn't marijuana, then it was sex, and if it wasn't sex, it was just trying to emulate and just be like my brother. That eventually the world ended up taking. He died in a car accident in Washington. It was so surreal how it happened. The truck rolled 13 times. It actually flipped up, and it hit so high that it actually took out a power line. That's how. And we visited him in the hospital. He got transported to Vancouver. We visited him and watched him shrivel away. He went from a 260-pound just Brahma bull to 135 pounds, just nothing. And watching this and seeing this and all the lessons to learn from this, there was alcohol involved and women, and it was all of it, all combined. And it's to see what sin can do. But I'm still battling these addictions when really I haven't really cracked open the Bible for months. It sits next to me. It's always there. My daily devotional. I'll open it up every now and then, trying to implement it at the dinner table. All the words around the house. But through my music, I will pray, but I feel like Cameron was saying last night, like a fraud, because I don't necessarily go to church and take my family to church. We don't pray before every single meal, but I know what I felt last time. I know what I experienced last time. I know that everybody has a story like mine, and everybody's been through the things that, I guess they don't ever expect to go through. I know and I feel, and everybody knows it, that there's a storm coming. The battle, yes, is already won, but everything sounds so cliche. It seems so fake. Even me telling this story now, could I have communicated this better if I was high? Probably. I would have taken a fat bong hit and then just and walk away feel like, yeah, it sounded so good. It was so but no, this is real. This is scrambled up. It's a mess, but it's real. It's kind of what I'm going through, but it's my ongoing testimony. And since last week, and all day today, I've just been saturating myself in the Word. And it's weird because with my wife, sometimes it feels like I've almost married my mother. But she came home, there was just this, she could sense the Spirit. She could sense God. She could just see it in Lacey's eyes. And she could just see that we've drifted, We've drifted, and not only is our marriage on the line, and our children, and spiritual condition. It's amazing how fast time can just fly. I know what I need to do. Do you? That sin just havoc on my life. Look around and see all this stuff just burdening. You guys ever heard of the Pilgrim's Progress? You guys heard of this? The Pilgrim's Progress. It's a story. It's written in Old English. You heard of it? I was reading that to my daughter once. Of course, I didn't finish it. I'm such a great starter. Never good at finishing something. You guys should read that story. I think we should all read that story. But one thing I can ask, and I would like to ask all of you, is just please pray for me and my family. Just really pray for us. Just keep us in your prayers every night. Just keep praying. Because, I mean, throughout the whole week, it literally got to the point where Daddy was going to leave. Like, Daddy was going to go. And my daughter was seriously like, Daddy, are you really leaving? And I was like, I don't know. Your mom and I can no longer, we can't keep acting this way towards each other. But then, like when she came home and walked through the door, and after praying and after just instilling ourselves in the Word, just rooting ourselves and just saturating ourselves and just obsessing, it all became clear. It all became clear. It's that saving faith. Even though it doesn't feel like it, even though it doesn't feel good, just keep doing it. Just keep going. You know, eventually the sun's gonna come out, and then it's gonna be even more beautiful. Expecting this to be a therapy session, but just please just pray for us, and just pray for clarity, just that God continues to protect us and shield us from the dangers, because there's a lot of people in our lives, a lot of attacks, and obsessing over that, wanting to be liked by everybody. Sometimes it's necessary to cut off the people in your life that are toxic. But please pray for this addiction that I have. And that I don't look to this high, whether it's from alcohol, cannabis, caffeine, and that I look to prayer and the Word and really instill myself in it. Because this world is literally eating me alive. And not spit me back out. This concrete jungle that we live in. And we're practicing for is it a fundraiser? For the Dakota Pipeline? And I've been educating myself in it and learning. It's really depressing. Been through like an emotional roller coaster with it. I mean, it's just anger, and then there's fear, and then there's conviction. I look around and I see all this stuff. Like I support these oil companies. I support, this driving here. I felt guilty. I just feel like, are we really making the steps? Just look around. I just see how this lives such a sinful life. I'm a fraud, I'm fake. This is. Worrying about the food that we eat. I'm fasting from Facebook because everything seems so artificial. It seems so sweet. It doesn't seem real anymore. There's just so much hate. Just pray for us. Been trying to find a church. We go, there's always layers, there's always politics. There's just so much confusion. And we've distracted ourselves from the most simple form to connect. Just reading the Word and praying together as a family. I know that God's going to heal us. But this is a perfect example of what the world will do. And what the world can do to someone that turns away. See, I don't like this. I feel so numb right now. I smoked earlier and thought it would help prepare me. But no. All it does is give me jealousy, frustration, anger, regret. So, I was going to end this with in?
11.
11 officially. This is gonna be a ride. I mean, yeah, I could reach for fame and fortune and just people please and have my ego stroked every week. But no, I want to learn how to be selfless again and just truly give my life to the Lord. I mean, all I really wanted coming here, I didn't really want to talk, I didn't want to sing, I didn't want to pray, I was hoping that you all could just gather around me and pray for me. Because there was a moment when I was in McMinnville where we raised our daughter, our oldest daughter, when she was 6. We left and moved to Idaho and got to experience what it was to be a family, not distracted, and not have all these people just telling us what to do and how to conduct our lives and how to live our lives. It was just us, and we were close, and it was beautiful, and we were together. When we were living in McMinnville, I was going to the Potter's House. And the Potter's House is a very radical church. You go out and you preach, and you're in people's faces. You're cramming it down their throat. You're battling. I mean, there's fights. It's very radical, very in your face. Never felt right to me. Never felt like what they were preaching. But there was a pastor that came from Alaska. Pastor McLaughlin, I believe his name was. And he just got done preaching in Vegas, so he's really amped up. And he shared this sermon, which there was a lot of relatability as he was speaking, because he talked about a vision that he had, that his son dreamt of a football stadium packed with people. And they were praising, it was just roaring in praise. And the details that he gave so similar to the vision that I had when Lexi was like 3 months in her bassinet. I was in the shower, and it was the only time I've ever had